say
much
I'm
when you've been-
toxic, and
you're getting
honestly,
more
I don't
feverish
care.
again.
October Red is sponsored by SA Security. Maximum security, minimum fuss.
Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. It is the lovely Gareth A. Davies and we are back for this morning's bite-sized session, conversations about boxing. Gareth, I apologize. We should have done this earlier, but I was a little bit ill. But all the better for seeing you today. Welcome back.
Well, two things. Thank you for a wonderful introduction. Maybe three. Thank you for inviting me on. And don't ever apologize, as I said to you yesterday, for being ill. If you're ill, you're ill. And I know you. If you can't do something, you're genuinely ill. And I know you're in your sick bed yesterday. So I'm delighted to join you today and that you're feeling better. So it's my utter privilege to be with you as always. And you're happy to know mother and father are watching today from Proteras, from I think Fig Tree Bay or wherever they're staying in Proteras in Cyprus right now. And they said, give October Red, give Abs our best.
Oh, good morning to mom and dad. That means a lot when your parents watch it. It's a privilege that I no longer have. So to have your parents here, actually, it's a little bit sentimental. Not my parents, but it's definitely sentimental.
They're a fan of yours. So, you know, it's... I'm
bet you say that to all the
alongside them.
channels,
That's
Gareth.
why I come on. That's why I come on. I'm a fan of yours. You know.
Oh, bless. Gareth, there's been so much going on in boxing. There's a couple of things that I did want to speak to you about and get your expert opinion on. Can you talk to me and explain to me what's happening with the evolution, the change of boxing when it comes to, say, for example, Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, this overlapping that doesn't necessarily sit right with me as being I could call myself a boxing purist, but why are we so tolerant of it? Why are we accepting of it? And why is it happening?
Well, let's put it this way. How long have you been doing your boxing stuff now? 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, it's about 5 years, yeah.
Right, 5 years. You've worked very hard for 5 years. If someone came along and said, you can do an OnlyFans and you can do it in your knickers and bra, or you can do it in your bikini, and it's a similar audience, but there's a few on the margins, but you can make enough money doing OnlyFans for a month because they want you to guest star. I'm just presupposing.
Yeah,
right?
I get what you're doing.
Right. I'm not talking this into existence. Although God forbid it does talk into existence. But let's see.
They'll be asking for refunds.
Yeah.
I'll be getting complaints. What on earth is this monstrosity? I want my money back now.
I think you have your dressing up sessions. But let's say someone comes along with that and says, we're plucking you from, we like what you do, where you are, and we're going to put you alongside X, Y, and Z. And if you do this for a month during the holidays, you know, during your holidays, away from boxing and away from what you normally do, you can earn $500,000 for doing it. And you go, well, let me think. I've been recognised because I've been doing this for 5 years, and someone's picked me and said, you know, you'd be really good for this. This is an opportunity. Morally, you might have some question marks around it, you know, and it might not. Let's preclude within like the knickers and bra. But I'm trying to put it in a place where you might not be fully comfortable doing it, or you're going to get flack for it, or whatever. So it might be interviewing people who have hit people with sucker punches, or people that have been violent to other people for no reason, or it's in a similar kind of, you're on camera, but you're going to make $500,000 to do it for a month. If you're accepting it, you're getting it because of the body of work you put together for the last 5 years, and someone's recognized something in you that works for them because they're going, she's got what I need for that. So if you say no to it, it negates the whole of the body of work that you've put together for 5 years. Because when you go back to your other body of work that you've been doing for 5 years, that maybe hasn't always been as well rewarded. It's got you to some great places. You meet loads of people. It's very rewarding. You're in a milieu that you enjoy. You know, you're so well loved and liked in that world as well. And I'm sure it gives you lots of things, and it does. But you go, do you know what? I can fund my son doing that and that son doing that, and I can finish my mortgage there, and I can get better cameras, and I can up my game. And do you know what? I'm going to do it. Now, I go back to Gervonta Davies, and if he can earn 30 million for the body of work that he's put together, both inside and outside the ring, as a kind of divisive figure, a character in the boxing world, he's arguably the most well-known character in American boxing. That's what he's being rewarded for in being called out to fight Jake Paul. Yes, it's not purism. No, yours wouldn't be purism. You know, it wouldn't be the purest element of what you want to do, which is interview people about a sport you love and an industry that you love, the Wild West, as we call it, the business of boxing. So that's what is actually in reality happening. When Dillian Whyte earned $2 million for 119 seconds, or supposedly it $2 million for 119 seconds against Moses Italma, he got it for the body of work that he's put together over a long period of time. Did Anthony Joshua when and if he faces Jake Paul? I don't agree with that one, because I think it's dangerous. Physically dangerous for Jake Paul. But that is what's happening. It's a business transaction. It's a commercial fight. It's someone plucked because of their resonance by a person who is using boxing as a platform. He's hijacked boxing as a platform for showing what he can do, for showing his cojones, for showing that he wants to test himself, for being addicted to the sport and wanting to fight in a Misfits event anymore. He feels bigger than that. It doesn't sound ego. So he needs to fight a Mike Tyson or a Gervonta Davies, or ludicrously an Anthony Joshua. Now, I'm not bothered if this wasn't happening in the world, but it is happening in the world. And anyone says, oh, why are you talking about it? Why are you giving it the oxygen of publicity? Why are you speaking about it? Why are you going to it? Because we have to discuss it. It's part of life, you know? When Rampage Jackson's son smashed that WWE or that wrestler the other day, it wasn't anything to do with fight sports. It was a violent attack on someone by someone who doesn't seem well. We have to discuss it because it's something that's going on in our sphere. So that's my kind of round the houses on it. I mean, what's your take?
I respect Jake Paul because I admire his tenacity and his business acumen. The fact that he's so young and ambitious, what he's built with Most Valuable Promotions. I was there when he brought Amanda Serrano over to the UK, totally revamped her image, you know, made her look like this goddess in boxing. He really put a lot of work into it. It's not Jake Paul that I'm questioning, because why shouldn't he have ambition? Why shouldn't he want to do these things? It's the boxers I'm questioning. And the boxers that you've mentioned, they're lucrative. They've got money. They don't, I mean, all right. If you're rich, do you ever not need money or not want money? I guess is the question. I'm not rich. I'm not in that position. So I question the boxers, not Jake Paul. Jake Paul's Jake Paul. But why are the boxers doing it? That's my question.
So would you do the OnlyFans then if you could earn $500,000?
No, because I don't love money like that. I'm not in love. I'm not in love with money like that.
You're being compromised as a person, or putting yourself in a place that you feel like you shouldn't be. So morally, or maybe even spiritually or emotionally, whatever it be, you would say no to that.
100%. 100%.
So is there a sport you really don't like?
No, the sports that I don't understand.
What about slap?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of that.
Right. So if someone said go and do slap, would you go and interview in slap for a ton of money?
Yes.
Right. I think we might be able to find a way here through the door where, listen, I appreciate and respect your.
I want you to do this to me because I need to understand. So I'm with you with what you're doing.
Well, but if you're Anthony Joshua, it's easy money. You're not doing anything great for the sport, even though Eddie Hearn's trying to sell it as Anthony Joshua could go in there and finish Jake Paul. Well, that's not good. That's not good talk. That's not good parlance from Eddie, because obviously he's going to sell the thing, but it's not safe. It shouldn't be sanctioned.
Oh, right. Okay. So from a safety point of view,
yeah, it shouldn't be sanctioned. It's not. It's.
Look, but is it safe for Gervonta? Gervonta's what I think Steve Smith said he's like 7 weights under.
7 weight divisions below him, 5 stone lighter, and 8
that's insane as well.
No, Jake Paul ain't gonna land a glove on him. First coffee of the day. Sorry.
No. I need you to put this into perspective. Why is it less dangerous for Gervonta than it is less dangerous for Jake Paul against Joshua?
Because Anthony Joshua could genuinely wreck him with punches.
But what about the size difference?
Jake Paul isn't good enough to wreck Gervonta Davis. In fact, I think Gervonta wins that, or they'll call it a draw because it's an exhibition or whatever.
You reckon?
Jake Paul will not lay a glove on Gervonta Davis. He'll virtually not lay a glove on him.
Interesting.
And it remains to be seen, Abs, whether they actually all do get in a ring together.
You're right. You are
I'll
right.
see it and believe it.
Because I know that you've dealt with other sports and not just boxing, and that you understand how the dynamics work, because this is your experience spanning over years of speaking to different people. It's just, I needed to get your perspective. Skeptical Jerry, he agrees with you. And he said Jake's fights are fixed, and this fight will be a fix too.
Who said they're fixed?
Skeptical Jerry. But he does agree with what he's in the chat. He's in the chat. One of the guys in the chat.
Skeptical Jerry. Sorry, Skeptical Jerry. Oh, I can't read it. God, that's so small. I can't read it.
Sorry, I can't make it bigger.
No, I can make
let me see if I can put it up.
There we go. Oh, that's better. That's better.
Gareth is right here.
Jerry. What is Jerry skeptical about? And is he skeptical about everything then? Is that why he calls himself Skeptical Jerry? I'd like to know. Skepo, we'd like to know why you're skeptical, Jerry. And what is it you're most skeptical about? I don't disagree with you that there are times when it feels like Jake Paul's opponents are buying in to tacitly not come in and beat him up. But I'm not sure Anthony Joshua would do that, because that would be the sole purpose for him being there. A lot of people this week, including the super troll Carl Froch on Fighting, seem to believe that Eddie Hearn and Frank Smith have got played by Jake Paul over the Anthony Joshua. Well, they believed that he was getting resonance and publicity from talking about fighting Anthony Joshua, and yet it never had any intention of fighting him. I'm not sure that's true. I think they really were having talks to do that fight. So you don't have any argument with Andre Ward saying he wants to come back and fight Anthony Joshua then?
They've always had a bit of animosity between the two.
No. I'll tell you what has always been there. Andre Ward, I sat with him one day in his favourite cafe in Oakland, California. Went to see him when I was dating a girl in San Francisco at the time for a period of time. And I went to Virgil Hunter's gym many times on that occasion. Have you been there or not?
No.
Well, Andre is a fantastic guy. And even then, that's 5-6 years ago, he was saying that if he was going to have one heavyweight fight, it'd be Anthony Joshua. So you're right. He's always fancied that fight against Anthony Joshua. So do you have no argument about him coming back to fight Anthony Joshua?
What's the weight difference? Because I don't know what he'd come in as now. Would Andre? What would he come in now?
He's probably 15. He's probably 14 stone now,
So
I'd
he
imagine.
would be about a heavyweight then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think he'd be close. But AJ's a much, much bigger man. Oh, skeptical Jerry. Ward is a bit of a plonker, to be honest. Which Ward is this?
Andre.
Oh, Ward. Oh, Andre Ward. He's not a plonker at all. You can't say that, Skeppy G. Is it one making the challenge at AJ? That's different. I don't think it'll happen. Ward's a bit of a plonker. I'd like AJ to knock him out. I'd like him to knock him trout. The fuck out. Am I allowed to swear on here or not?
Well, it doesn't matter. You've done it now. It's live.
When you put it on YouTube and it says, "Is this Gareth?"
Yeah, look. Gareth himself should know historically and recently, most if not all life-threatening, lingering boxing injuries or tragedies are not caused by early one-punch knockouts. They're caused, he goes on to say, they're caused by long, grueling fights where the boxers have lost a lot of fluid and sweat a lot and has taken a lot of shots up to the point.
Well, the case in point there is Chris Eubank Jr. against Conor Benn, isn't it? Earlier on in the year, that's the kind of fight where you worry about what might happen to boxers. Alex Bellotti, very well made point, sir, and I do agree with you. And yes, I am obviously very aware of that. But I still personally won't condone Anthony Joshua getting with Jake Paul. It doesn't sit well with me. Again, I'm not saying I wouldn't be there, and I'm not going there for pleasure. I'd be going there for work. But I don't think it should be sanctioned. I think it sets a very dangerous precedent. But Mr. Bellotti makes a very strong point that, you know, it's not likely that AJ is going to be beating Jake Paul up for 10 rounds.
No, God,
I don't think it would take him very long at all, but I think he'd hold him up for a few rounds, rather like Floyd Mayweather did against Conor McGregor those few years ago. 7 years ago.
I know I'm kind of topic hopping here, but I'm just mindful of time. Gareth, I haven't got to speak to you about Daniel Dubois leaving Don Charles. I just wanted to get your opinion. I've seen some bits on TalkSport, your channel, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. I, for one, didn't agree that he moved, but I knew that as soon as I saw Sam Jones announce that he was going to be his manager, I knew that was going to happen. But what are your thoughts on it?
Why did you know that then?
Because I don't think Sam Jones and Don Charles have historically got on.
Yeah, maybe I didn't really put those two together, two and two together, and come up with five in that way. But I don't disagree with you. Maybe, look, I haven't had my run-ins with Don Charles. Don Charles had his run-in with me a while back, and I wish him well. And I think he was brilliant for Daniel. I don't wish any malice on Don, and I think he's. My instinct is it's unfair on him. I think, but he has got his stature grew with Daniel. Daniel was beaten by the generational heavyweight great of the era. No shame in that. Bookended by two defeats to Usyk, either side of three very fine victories that Don oversaw, and of course a massive victory at Wembley Stadium that will live long in the memory over the aforementioned Anthony Joshua, who has been out for a year, by the way, since then. So
has it been that long?
It's coming up a year, Abs. It's coming up a year.
Yeah, it's September, isn't it?
And you know, very soon it'll be Tyson Fury coming up a year as well. And it's ironic that in 2025, and I'm bouncing around a little bit here as well. I'll come back to Don. That in the week that we're talking about the prospect of Deontay Wilder and Francis Ngannou, they're talking about we're talking about Joshua and Fury not fighting in 2025, and yet Francis Ngannou might complete the tic-tac-toe of Deontay Wilder and Joshua and Tyson Fury in the era, even though we haven't got Fury and Joshua, and we haven't got Joshua and Wilder.
Crazy.
And it's so, I know it, and I can remember saying when Joshua and Fury went sideways because Deontay Wilder won his court of arbitration, he won his court case to have
the arbitration.
Yeah, when they went to arbitration in America, he won his case to have the third fight against Tyson Fury in Las Vegas. That I remember saying at the time, this is going to be a travesty and a tragedy if we do not get Fury and Joshua in a ring together. And yet 5 years on, we are potentially on the cusp of that. And I think they'll both wake up late next year and realise that they've missed a massive opportunity. They'll certainly realise in their 50s that they should have fought each other. And, it's the era's incomplete without them fighting each other. So, but on Don, what I feel bad about is having gone up to the farm in Boreham Wood and knowing that Don put a lot of that together, the barns and everything for Daniel, and felt like this was a moment. He felt like there was a divine intervention that would come as well, and that Daniel would beat Usyk. Obviously, it didn't happen on the night, but he gave a lot to Daniel, and I just hope his reward comes hereafter in his boxing career. And I listened to Jamie Moore on TalkSport talking about it the other day, and obviously one of our celebrated, very respected trainers, in a similar way to Don. And he was surprised as well, and I think most people in the sport were surprised that Daniel has moved on.
Yeah, I like Jamie Moore a lot. He's quite frank, says it as it is, just like the Smith brothers, to be fair. So it was interesting to get his honest, trainer point of view on it, which is invaluable in these times. But there was something else.
Life in the sport, haven't they? And like with the Smiths, that there's a kind of hexagonal relationship with father.
True.
The sister who had autism that they fight for, the mum who never watches them box. Do you know that Margaret never ever? I think it's Margaret.
Okay. I didn't know that.
She can't watch one of them box. She watched Paul box a Canadian in the Commonwealth Games in Manchester, I think it was, years ago.
Yeah.
And Paul knocked out his opponent. She was violently sick in the toilet watching it. It made her feel really ill.
Yeah, mumsy. Yeah.
Watched ever since. So she'll go for a drive while they're boxing, and then she'll see the fight on in a window in the pub, through the window in the pub, or the radio will be on and someone's talking about the result, and all she wants to do is have everything off while they're fighting.
Oh, I didn't know.
When you think Callum is still going and Liam's still I know they've moved out home now.
She definitely wouldn't have liked that Boatsi fight, because that was absolutely fantastic. I mean, it was very blood, guts and gore, but it was a brilliant fight. But Mumsy definitely wouldn't have liked that.
But she wouldn't have liked the fact I scored it a draw either.
Who said that? Somebody, I was speaking to Joshua, and I'm convinced somebody said that they gave it to him as well.
No, I couldn't score it for him, but I scored it a draw. Okay. I couldn't find 7 rounds for him, but somehow I found 6 rounds for him. It was a very close fight. I mean, in my head, all the highlights are Callum. I know we're bouncing around here today, but in my head, all the highlights are Callum. But Joshua, on my actual scorecard on the night, and I was there, and I was scoring, I was watching every second of every round. It was a very, very, very entertaining fight. It's the best fight I've seen Callum in, and I think it's the best fight I've seen Joshua Buatsi in as well.
Yeah, you can't argue that. Let me go to the chat, because there's a few bits coming in. Skeptical has gone on to say Jamie Moore is a million times better coach than Don Charles. Alex says Dubois doesn't need a manager. He's been managed fantastically and moved well. Sam's just going to be earning pounds for taking on Dubois' behalf. Not to say he isn't a great manager for other fighters, but he doesn't think that Daniel needs one. Morning to Star Fox. Hey, look, we've got to get this in. Gareth, did you shower before this call? I love what you did to Moses. His face was an absolute picture, and we are bouncing again, but the fact that it was a natural reaction, that's what we needed. I'm glad
He
he didn't
didn't.
know the story,
He,
because he was
you
like,
know, he
what
didn't
the
know the story. He
hell are
didn't know
you
the
on
in-joke.
about?
I've got absolutely hammered for it as well. That what am I
Did you?
doing asking a 20-year-old young fighter if he showers?
Oh, it
Listen,
was, yeah, it's an ongoing
look,
joke. I didn't,
you know the history of it. I had originally, with
yeah.
Cougar on IFL, have been took the microphone one day and asked Dillian, did he shower before he fights Jermaine Franklin? Based around, I didn't have time to explain it, but it based around, you know, fighters from the past not washing and wanting to
To
go
put
in
the
smelling.
fighters off. Yeah.
Yeah, put other fighters off, and guys in MMA do it today as well, and you know, along the lines of as well, you know, when do you stop having sex before a fight? You know,
Oh,
which is a
yeah.
question
Yeah.
that always elicits an interesting answer as well. I think
Do you think it makes a difference?
was because I'd asked AJ about that, about having, you know, about abstaining from having sex before a fight or something, and I'd written that story for the Telegraph a couple of years back, and it did like fantastic numbers based on AJ's sex life. But the I think, you know, having an opportunity on here just to explain it. I mean, Moses's reaction was
It was gold.
it was just brilliant. And obviously, I know Moses fairly well. I get on really well with Moses.
He's lovely.
But you know, he is, and I do think I call him the takeover, and I really do think he will take over. You know, you've got kids, I've got kids, I've got grandkids, and you'll have them soon as well. Not too soon, but soon. And when you think that Moses is 20, you have to pinch yourself, don't you? You know?
Yeah.
And we are looking at a new type of Mike Tyson coming on the scene. So, yeah, it was brilliant fun. I got absolutely hammered over it. There were several memes created, but it was all good fun, actually, on a week when Dillian was very muted in Riyadh, and when Moses learnt a lot about how to be at the top of a promotion. I really do think he'll be a world champion within a year's time.
What did you think about? Yeah, I do as well. I like Moses' attitude. I think he's very mature for his age. The fact that he's invested his boxing money into properties, him and his brothers, you know, they're property developers as well. He doesn't just, you know, he's not one of these that goes around buying expensive things, showing off with clothing or jewelry or vehicles. He's quite.
Oh, he will. He will.
He probably will, but he's very level-headed at a young age. And for somebody so young that thinks like that, that's to be commended. And that's what I like about him.
I think he was like, he had the attitude of a pro when he was like 15, I think.
Did he?
When he revealed in Fight Week that he was DMing Dillian 6 years ago,
that came out, didn't it? Yeah.
Wanting to go to the gym with him when he was 14. When Dillian was like literally in his pomp and very menacing, dangerous fighter. It's just staggering. It's brilliant. He's a breath of fresh air for all of us, because as Tyson Fury admitted, Abs, last week in that second Instagram post when he's going for a jog in the morning or whatever he was doing up in Morecambe, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying his retirement. We're all old guys compared to this kid. So the whole division's on notice. He was kind of tacitly admitting he'd beat me as well. He's not going to say that out loud, but
he's passing the torch, isn't he?
Passing the torch, and you know, all but Usyk right now, I think I'd give Moses a chance of beating all the way up to Usyk. Usyk's probably a step too far right now, but I think Moses is capable of being anyone in the heavyweight division. Maybe Fury and Usyk will be the difficult ones, but apparently they've had amazing spars together. I've never seen them spar. You know, apparently his sparring with Daniel Dubois looks amazing. He is amazing. He's a fantastic kid. I got to interview his father for the first time.
Oh, that was lovely. I love that.
What, the joint venture? I said, are you the man responsible? And he went, No, it's a joint venture.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I thought that was so brilliant to get his dad there because it explains where his how can I put it without
I'll get his mum next. I'll get his mum next.
yeah, it just explains that he's got a supportive father, hence his level-headedness, if that makes sense. It's so
I think one of the things that I've always done again, this is a journalistic bent as well, is to I've always tried to, if the parents are around, get to know the parents as well, because then you can know them physically. You can get where they're coming from. They can say, no, this is just the rogue son or daughter who had to get involved in boxing. None of us are like this. But you can see Charles's physicality. He's not the tallest man, but he's very broad, very powerful looking, and he's got that.
Jolly.
And calmness about him, though.
Yeah,
and he has a
jolly.
very nice presence. Yeah, the whole he's got a big entourage already, 20-odd people, but they're very cool.
Really,
very cool people. I spoke to a lot of them while I was out there, and that was, as you know, that's part of what I'm not just drinking tequila and coffee and having a jolly and asking people if they shower. We're doing diligence behind the scenes. We're talking to people. We're getting to know. We're getting to, we're filling up the storeroom, if you like, with info.
Well, we need that though, and I like that off-the-cuff type of interview where you literally just grab people. Yeah, let's come in, let's talk about this, and it's relevant.
You don't interview them; you just talk to them.
Yeah,
and
you have the conversation.
You're storing up stuff for a rainy day. You're storing up for when, like, I remember I had some conversations with Moses Itauma's team saying, just remember that things go wrong in this industry as well. So you need allies in the media to talk to when things go wrong as well. Now, you know very well that when Tyson was 10 stone overweight, I went to document him in Marbella and working with Ben Davison and him revealing at the time he'd felt suicidal with all so you're there at the fights, but you're there when the times don't go as well as they might, and something will go wrong for Moses along the way. He's not going to win 20 fights in a row right now. Well, if he does, amazing, but there may be a blip in there. Lennox Lewis had a couple of blips. Mike Tyson had his blip in 1990 after 4 years and 9 fights dominating the heavyweight division, becoming the youngest champion. And I mean, I've already given this example. Maybe Bakadir Jalilov comes along in 7 fights time, and they think he's going to knock him. They think Moses knocks him out, but he upsets the apple cart and he takes all his punches one night and he wins on points. Or you never know what's going to happen. And it's heavyweight boxing, but it's a great journey. It's a fantastic journey.
I love the fact that you brought in Jalilov into it, because I do think that Moses does him. I think some fighters are very well suited to the amateurs and some are just meant to be pros. And I do believe that Moses is meant to be. He's a pro fighter. Yeah. Let's have a look to the right. I think Malcolm Marcel says he should be fighting Tyson Fury. Who should be fighting Tyson Fury? He's in Garnu level. Maybe that was Anthony Joshua. SWJ, good morning. Caballero is a harder fight for Itauma than Fury. Oh, interesting. Morning to Metal Box J.
I get where SWJ is coming from.
Go on.
But again, you've got to remember that Caballero looked very good against the Southpaw Zhang. Listen, Moses. What I said was Moses is capable of beating everyone, but I think the top 2 would give him very, very difficult fights. But equally, Parker, Caballero, and others are capable of beating Moses as well. There's no question about that.
Yeah, Jake Paul DG, shout out to you. Jake Paul could die.
Interrupt. Who? Tying, I think he means Tyson. Been conning the public for years. Well, just qualify that. But just qualify that. What do you mean he's been conning the public for years? What do you mean by that? How's he been conning the public? Who's he conning? The only person who hasn't fought in the era is
Joshua.
is Joshua. He's not going to fight Parker, and he's not going to fight Kabayel. He's too old now. Parker's too close a friend. But what was he conning us in 3 fights against Deontay Wilder? What was conning about that?
And music. There were bloody good fights as well.
They were amazing fights.
And I think if anybody does interview Usyk and they do say, which fight did you train the hardest for? I reckon he'll say Tyson Fury, because that's the one where he looked like he really had to exert himself and really go hard to win. That's just my opinion watching the fight.
I'm not sure Jake Paul could get the sentiment, DG.
Yep.
I don't think Tank is big enough to knock out Jake Paul, by the way. I'm not sure he's going to do that.
Yeah, Jalalov's really not
very good viewers this morning. By the way, brilliant viewers. These are these all regulars?
Yeah, they are. They're brilliant. They're fantastic.
Do they know you've got an OnlyFans now that I've created for you?
Behave. I told you, if I had an OnlyFans, there'd be a refund column. You know, this is not 1990, 1994. This is now 2025 and I'm approaching 50. Right. SWJ says Jalalov, not really a prospect. He's only 2 years younger than Hrgović, 33 and 31.
Did you call him a prospect then? Did you call him a prospect?
I might have done, but I just think Moses is the thing is with Moses, and you've watched MMA fighters, you've watched boxers. Moses has got incredibly fast feet. The way that he navigates himself around the ring as a heavyweight is brilliant. I would like to see, even if it was, I'd like to see him and Usyk because of their feet. Not saying that Moses is anywhere near the standards, but the way that he moves, he's got fast hands, fast feet. I think their styles, say if they were of the same era, I would have liked to have seen them. But a fighter that I'd like to see Moses Int against Terramona or Justice Honey. Everyone's writing Justice Honey off because, you know, Fabio not stopped him. But I do believe that Justice Honey, Terramona, good fights for Moses as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only thing he's missing, as we all know, is rounds in the bank because, and maybe being a bit coming through. You know, when Hamza Shiraz came through a couple of difficult rounds against Ammo Williams and came back to win that. When you just like to see. Oh, I thought he lost that fight, but but he still came through it. And what you just want to see Moses come through a difficult patch that you can judge him by a gut check. So it'll happen. It'll happen at some point. He may be a world champion before it happens, given the way the division is and given his progress. But it's still very interesting.
Right. Let me just say this, because I need you to talk about the Boxing News Online article. Alex says, can you ask Gareth if we'll get AJ versus Bacoli in Africa, as been suggested in recent interviews?
It would be great. It would be great. I mean, I'd love to see that. I think it'd be great it's great to see boxing coming back in Nigeria, or boxing happening in Nigeria and Ghana at the moment, and Africa's rising up. Yeah, I'm just pulling. I'm not sure we will get it straight away, but Boxing News has done a very interesting article this week on. There he is, #1 most influential figure in boxing, and I don't disagree with it. As we all, or as many of us, head to Vegas for
Canelo.
Yeah,
Crawford.
But I was just going to really look at the top 10, which is very interesting at the moment. Alexander Usyk, Canelo, sorry, the highest placed boxer at #5. Turkey, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Canelo, Al Heyman, Shai Segev, who's the CEO of DAZN. Have you interviewed him?
No, I haven't.
Oscar De La Hoya. They got the right people in the top 10. George Warren at 9, Usyk at 11, Nick Khan at 10. The fact that he's is he CEO of TKO Group?
Yeah.
which obviously kicks off in Las Vegas on September the 13th. Have you noticed that as well? It's not Jarrell Miller and Michael Hunter now on the Thursday. They've cancelled that, and they're doing
Big Baby Miller.
Big Baby Miller, yeah, and they were going to have a fight on the Thursday of that fight week in Vegas, but they've now made a contender series instead, which is up and coming fighters. I hope they're successful in America. I'm really looking forward to going. I'm heading out there week after next. I've got Bare Knuckle in Bristol. Bare Knuckle in Bristol next week with
Shout out to Kamil Sokolowski.
He is fighting on it. He is.
Yep, I like him.
That guy deserves a heavyweight title shot. I love him. Lucas Brown's on that card as well, by the way.
Yes. I've seen that he's made the transition.
Yeah, heading up. BKB are doing fantastic stuff at the moment. They've just signed a deal with Telemundo in Spanish. Obviously, it's live on TalkSport. You can watch it on the TalkSport boxing.
Oh, that's all right then.
Yeah, it's been on there where they've had last 6 or 7 events, doing 20-odd thousand viewers. It's at the Bristol Ice Rink if you're from the area. It's always an amazing night. Big Mo's doing Master of Ceremonies.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm doing commentary with Tom Ross and Mike Goldberg and post-fight interviews. Danielle Moyne is there as well doing interviews. It's really come on in leaps and bounds. And I do think we're going to see more MMA and ex-boxers or current boxers going over and trying to handle it. Luke Rockhold, who fights this weekend against Darren Till in the Misfits, had a go against Mike Perry. Didn't like it. But I am very much looking forward to seeing how this guy, Turkey, it gets on with Dana White in Vegas on the 13th, and whether they really can build boxing in America again to where it was when I first started covering it, which was one of the principal 5 sports in the country, along with ice hockey, baseball, basketball, and gridiron.
Well, you've seen what they're doing. They've put a bill into Congress, haven't they, to potentially amend, update the Muhammad Ali Act. I think it was 1996 and 2000. They're looking to potentially change that. That will give more power and less transparency to the public, less transparency to the fighters should that bill go through. Basically, your promoter and your manager can be the exact same thing, and it potentially might create a problem. And that problem, I think, could filter over to the UK as well, as in regards to the status of the belts that we currently have, because they're looking at introducing the unified boxing, UBOs, which is another type of belt. Yes, there's some perks with regards to health insurance, etc. But there's a lot of other things that's not potentially sitting well. But I don't know what your thoughts are on that. You mentioned TKO, so I thought I'd bring that up.
Well, very quickly, I mean, I have read all that, and that there is, like I say, there is a bill being brought forward in the American government, the American Parliament, to Senate to look at that as a kind of, as you say, as an adjunct to as an alteration, an adjunct to the Muhammad Ali Act, where you can't be manager and promoter of the same fighter. But what they're trying to do, like they do in MMA with the UFC, is create that one-stop shop league where they decide the purses, manage the fighters, sign them up as well. And obviously they're trying to get around the Muhammad Ali Act, which is there for a reason, to protect the interests of the boxers. But as you say, at the same time, they're trying to safeguard fighters with health insurance, with... I think they've got to look after them if they do this, and they've got to look after them to keep them under this banner. I'm not sure whether that system works quickly. In my view, that's a long-term
definitely
possibility and a strategy. But having said that, long-term in boxing, you could build big names in 3 years. But where I think, I'm not saying they're going to fail, but what I would have done differently is the resonance they've built with the heavyweights over the last 2 years, I would have taken some of those big names
Mm.
and brought them to America as well around this,
Mhm.
and worked with Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya and worked. I'd have done that. I would have created a group of, say, 12 boxers from lightweight to welterweight, from your T.O.s, your Haneys, your Ryans, your Keishawns, your Boots, your Buds, your Shakos, your Tanks. Get that group in together and create a tournament around who is the best out of all those. And I'd have had those, because they've got endless money to do it. I'd have had all that group together. I've had the boxers together, and I would have brought and bought those big names to big cards in America, but made names underneath it. I think they've gone, you've done that over there. I've done that with you over there, but now I'm going to do this over here. And I'm not sure whether, I hope it works for them. But I think a more rounded strategy would have been what I've just suggested. I don't know if you disagree with me, but
I think it poses a threat to the current promotional organization hierarchy that we've got at the moment. I think it will phase out potentially. The downside is that it will phase out promotional companies in the UK because there won't necessarily be a need for them. But that's just one of
I
my
agree.
opinions.
I think we've got a rabid fan base. When you can,
We have.
We've got Europe and Saudi Arabia was where the sport was really developing. In the sports bars in America, the fifth sport is UFC. It's MMA. That's the fifth sport on the big TV screens. You know, when you go into an American sports bar, there's 10 screens. One of them has got UFC on it, whether it's a replay or it's one. They've just signed a massive deal with CBS, Viacom.
Interesting.
And billions of dollars, and rightly so. They've got a watertight organisation. I think boxing is in a decent place here. I think what's going to happen is the market value may drop. It's interesting to see Turkey Al Sheikh involved with, and the Ring magazine involved with some events like Ben Eubank 2. That's fascinating, or Eubank Ben 2. That's fascinating. I meant to speak to Chris Eubank today. I'm hoping for the Ring magazine.
Oh, brilliant. Good.
He's out in Dubai, and that's about it, really.
You will see how it goes. I will just go back to one question, and it was Grant Lomas. He said, have you discussed Dillian Whyte confirming he's going to carry on? And if so, what do you make of this? And that's going to be our final question because I've taken up far too much of Gareth's time.
We're nearly an hour, so and
it's gone quick, Gareth.
It's gone quickly. It's gone quickly.
Quickly than usual, Gareth.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you think?
It's gone very quickly. So it's a great conversation. Very interesting, and I think the viewers are brilliant today. By the way,
they are. Shout out to all the subscribers. They are the best.
All your fans. So I suspected Dillian would want one more. He wouldn't want to go out like that. He's a proud warrior. He was bested by Moses Itauma, and a fight with Derek Chisora, or who else was suggested? I saw someone else.
Joe Joyce,
yes. Joe Joyce or Derek Chisora. That kind of opponent would be good now, in my view.
Well, we'll see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into our live. Gareth, we've definitely got to do it again. I enjoy speaking to you as always. But yeah, we're going to let Gareth escape for the day. Like I said, you know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe, the share button, etc., etc. And hopefully you'll see Gareth and I back on YouTube together very soon. Gareth, enjoy your day, and shout out to Mother and Father Davies once again.
Pleasure for having me. Thanks very much.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.
October Red is sponsored by SA Security. Maximum security, minimum fuss.